Okay, hi, my name is Jeff Cawley. Welcome to this edition of The Hot Seat. Today's guest is Dr. Chad Lynn. And Dr. Lynn has been sponsored by, who is the sponsor for Dr. Lynn?
Nikki Sprinkles Gregory.
Nikki Sprinkles Gregory. That is correct. Nikki Sprinkles Gregory. And I think some of your folks there at Primary and Parkside have kind of maybe chipped in for that. So that is your sponsor, sir.
All right.
So you will have 20 questions.
Okay.
The questions have been thoroughly researched. The answers have not. So this will be on you to answer these. Remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, Dr. Chad Lynn, we're going to go ahead and get started. Question number one. You can only choose one. Who's your favorite Beatle?
John Lennon.
John Lennon. I have to agree, if I had to pick just one, pretty good choice there. Number two, as an elementary principal, you have to be willing to do some pretty crazy things for your kids. What have you done at assemblies or the like to entertain your kids or get them pumped up for map testing or something of that nature?
Well, usually on Halloween I dress up and I play the guitar in the gym for him before school starts. So I've done that.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you dress up as one of the Beatles, or do you have an Elvis costume? Or?
Well, one year I was Slash, and I think another year I was Dickie Betts. So
they didn't know who Dickie Betts.
They didn't know.
Slash. A couple of them might get Slash. Dickie Betts, yeah, not so sure.
No, nobody.
Why don't you go as Jerry Jeff Walker one year?
Yeah,
you really want to throw them off. Okay, those are good. Favorite athlete and team of all time. They don't have to be the same. You know, you don't have to say Roger Staubach and the Cowboys. It can be just your favorite athlete of all time and then your favorite sports team of all time.
Favorite sport team of all time would be St. Louis Cardinals.
Okay, baseball Cardinals.
Baseball Cardinals. Used to watch them with my grandpa all the time. Took me to the Busch Stadium.
Okay.
And just a lot of great memories. So St. Louis Cardinals. Favorite athlete of all time, Dick Butkus. Greatest linebacker ever.
Dick Butkus.
Number 51.
The Bears.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Jackie Brown, or Django? The D is silent. Again, I know you like all three, but you only get to pick one.
Well, as much as I love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I'd say Django.
You'd say Django. I like all three, but Django would have been my third one.
Really?
I'm a Jackie Brown
Really?
guy. Yeah, I like Jackie Brown.
I mean, I love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, I do too.
I think and I love Jackie Brown too. It's just, I don't know, something about Django.
Django, a lot of big stars.
A lot of big stars. Don Johnson, right?
Don Johnson.
Yeah.
Don Johnson. What is a common misconception people have about you?
I don't know. I'm not really sure. Probably. Well, I tell you what. I appear to be very quiet and introverted, and I can be that way sometimes. But when you get to know me, people get to see my sense of humor.
Yeah, I would not say
a little bit of an honorary sense of humor.
I can see how some people would say that. Okay, all right. Who was your favorite kid to coach? You were a long-time coach in a couple different sports, wrestling, did some football. Who was your favorite kid over the years that you've coached?
I don't know. There's so many of them.
Throw out a couple names if you like.
Matt Harden.
Matt Harden?
Wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah. Love Matt Harden. Hard worker, good guy. Just, ask him to do something, he'd do it. Always looking to get better. Just tough as nails. The Compton boys.
Okay.
Will and Cody. And then Jason Winkle.
Okay. Good choices there. Name something that's on your bucket list. Things you want to do. Just places you want to see. Again, you can throw out a couple of these if you like.
Places I want to see. Probably a few years ago I'd had some. Now as I get older, I don't really know that there's any place. I don't.
The living room sounds pretty good as you get older.
I love the mountains. So and I got a chance to go out to the Rockies. I'd probably like to go to Zion National Park. Zion's
in Utah.
Utah. I'd like to go to Utah. I'd love to go to Arizona, maybe Sedona.
Sedona's nice. I was in Sedona last week.
So those are two bucket list places.
Nice place. Okay. This is going to change. This changes for everyone. Everyone that's a fan, this changes from time to time, depending on when I ask. Favorite Bruce Springsteen album? Because from time to time you've called me and you'll say, it's a funny sidebar, he'll call me and say, I'm telling you, The Rising is the best album ever. And 3 days later, you'll call me and say, what do you think of The River? The River's a great album. You know, so I know that you kind of go through those stages when you're listening to different Springsteen stuff. Is there one that just jumps out as your favorite?
You know, if you had asked me this before I started listening to more of his back catalog, I said Born in the USA because when I grew up, that was stuck in our Eagle. That, you remember those cars, the Eagle? It was stuck in the tape deck. So that whole summer, it just flipped over and over.
The AMC Dodge Eagle.
Yeah. So, and the sunroof leaked all the time.
Right.
It was awesome. I would probably say Greetings from Asbury Park.
Greetings from Asbury Park, New Jersey. Great album. Got to be a hardcore fan though to like Greetings. It's not something that's not an album you start someone out listening to.
No, we talked about that.
Yeah. Well, one of the first times I took my wife to a concert, she was listening to that album at home, and I came in. She said, "Hey, I'm trying to get excited to go to this concert with you." And I said, "You need to start with Born in the USA, or you don't start with Nebraska or one of those albums."
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Nebraska,
great album too. Okay, what historical person would you like to have dinner with?
Teddy Roosevelt.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Greatest president ever, I think. Doesn't get justice, never is in the top 3. He's always a near great president. You know, that's how the historians rank him. Don't know that he had a national crisis to get him in the top 3. He wasn't the first one, but great overall president because...
But he was a national parks guy. He's responsible for a ton of national
parks guy. And what I really love about Teddy Roosevelt is he could work with both sides. No matter where you're from, he could work with both of them and come to some kind of agreement that they could all, you know, be okay with.
Right. Good answer.
And I'd like to hear his stories.
Title?
Great stories.
What would the title be of a book about your life?
Title of the book about my life. I have no idea. I have no idea on that one.
Okay, that was a Nikki question. She submitted that question to us.
She told me I might have questions that I'd have to think about.
Can
I come back to that one?
Yes, this one's going to be a little easier
Okay.
because this was a Jason Lowry submitted question. Favorite Marvel movie of all time? I know you like some of the Marvel stuff.
Movie
you like some different movies.
Of all time. I like first Iron Man.
Okay, Iron Man it is.
I like that. Endgame, those are all great too, but I like Iron Man. I like what they did with that character. Iron Man's a lot cooler now. You know, when they first started in the comics, you read about it, it's like, yeah, he's okay. But man, Robert Downey Jr. brought that.
They developed it into something.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Name one thing that was popular when you were in high school that's no longer popular.
Tight rolling your jeans.
Well, that's come up a couple times. Tight rolling in jeans, and I remember that when I was in high school too.
Wearing overalls with one strap down.
I remember that. I'm glad that those are both no longer popular.
The mullet.
The mullet, the Wisconsin waterfall.
Hey, I had the second best mullet in Farmington.
Really?
I did.
You know,
I couldn't have the first best because I modeled mine after the guy that had the first best.
Right. So it's hard to be the best when you're modeling after someone else.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. Okay. Best front man, David Lee Roth, Freddie Mercury, or Axl Rose?
Axl Rose.
Really? That
Yeah.
surprised me that's your...
Yeah.
Unless you're in St. Louis where he's not allowed.
Well, I mean, so he's a great songwriter. He's got a unique voice, and he embodies that dangerous side of rock and roll. You never know when it's going to go off the rails. When it's good, but it could just fall apart at any moment.
He could hit someone with a mic stand in a few minutes. Yeah.
If you're taking pictures and you shouldn't be, yes.
Yeah, that could happen.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the best thing about coaching with Paul Schrayer? I know there's a ton of great coaching stories that center around Paul Schrayer, but what was the best thing, your favorite thing about coaching with Paul?
Well, I learned so much from him. And one of the things I learned about him was he has like this hard exterior, but when you get to know him, you get to know that he's a really good guy that cares about people and cares about kids, and he'd do anything for you. So he was always there for me and our kids, and I think that's probably what I learned the most. When you first meet him, you know, I'm not saying he is a tough guy, but when you get past that and you get to know him as a person, he is a really good guy that cares about people.
You know,
he's not going to like me saying that.
Well, you know, one of the things I liked about working with Paul was, you know, he was very selective on, he would take his kids in his classes. And back then they called that class the behavioral disorder class. You know, the titles changed so many times over the years. But he was very selective about, he would let those kids go out and he would move them into regular classrooms throughout the day. And but he would never tell me the first couple days of school.
Yeah.
He would let me, you know, get an opinion about that student on my own, and he would come to me and say, well, you know, so and so, this is one of my students. And I always thought that was a great idea, because you didn't want to, you know, and I didn't do that anyway, but I'm sure there were people that thought, oh well, this is one of Paul's kids, you know, I'd approached him differently. And for me, I thought it was a great asset as a teacher, not knowing and just treating everybody the same, and that's what he strived to do. What is one of your worst habits?
You know, I don't do it anymore, but when I was younger, I used to chew on my fingernails.
Okay. Don't do it anymore.
No, I gave that up.
They
a
put
long
hot
time
sauce
ago.
or something on your parents to break
No,
you of
you
that?
know, my grandma said, well, don't chew on all of them, just chew on your thumb. And then I just stopped doing it after that. I don't know.
Another great question here by Jason Lowry. Favorite guitar, Gibson Les Paul, Fender Stratocaster, or Gibson Flying V?
Gibson Les Paul.
Okay.
Gibson Les Paul standard, absolutely. It's got everything that you would need in a guitar sound. You can play all kinds of different styles. I think the tone of it, I mean, it looks great also, but the tone of it.
Okay. Who would play you in a movie about yourself?
Who would play me in a movie? Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford.
Harrison
I'm a big
Ford.
Harrison Ford fan. Overlooked. Guy's overlooked.
Yeah. You know why Harrison Ford?
Why would you pick Harrison
I mean, he's a
Ford?
great actor, but I mean, he would pretty much, you'd have Indiana Jones and Han Solo playing you.
I never thought of it that way, but you know.
I mean, if you think about it, Indiana Jones and Han Solo are really Harrison Ford.
Yeah. Do you know this is a good piece of trivia?
I mean,
here.
he's acting.
Do you
but
know
you know
who
what
was
I mean?
selected to play Indiana Jones prior to?
I know.
Oh, Mr. Lowry says he knows this. And that's a great bit of trivia, but and you can't imagine either one of these guys being anything than what they were. I can't imagine him not being Indiana Jones, and I no more than I can imagine
Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck.
Selleck was going to be.
They offered it to
Indiana
Tom
Jones.
Selleck, and he was in the middle of Magnum PI. And can you imagine anyone else doing Magnum PI? You can't.
No, I
it's-
can't. No, I'm trying to.
They're
I'm
trying
to
that right
imagine-
now with Jay Hernandez.
Well, I'm trying to imagine Tom Selleck being Indiana Jones, and I can't do it.
Can't do that either.
I can't do it.
And Jay Hernandez is Tom Selleck. Jason Lowry would be a much better Magnum PI than Jay Hernandez.
Maybe that's something they should.
You
do
heard
here.
that first
You know, they
here.
should do that here. Maybe like a pilot.
We could probably sell that.
You could.
All right, here's another one for you. What song would you pick for a slow dance?
Let's stay together. Al Green.
Let's Stay Together, Al Green.
Yeah,
Breaking out the Al Green.
That's right.
Go right from Al Green to some Barry White. Just move in kind of
You're
progression.
my first, my last, my everything.
That's right. That's right. Okay, and the last question here that we give everybody: you're a junior coming in or a senior coming into UniTec. What program would you take? What program would be of interest to you here at UniTec?
I think automotive.
Automotive. Is there a reason behind that? Would you like to be a mechanic, or you just want to be able to work on your own
Oh,
stuff?
I think I'd like just to be able to work on my own stuff. That's probably something that, I mean, I don't know that much about, so it would be interesting just to know it and also to be able to work on things.
You know, we get a lot of kids here at UniTec that'll sign up for a class, and they'll tell me that I'm not sure I want to be an auto mechanic or a welder, but I want to learn this skill. And then once they learn it, they realize, some of them realize that's exactly what they want to do, and others realize, you know what, I like the welding aspect, but I think I'd like to be more involved in automotive, so they can just kind of segue into that. So
I got a book title,
what's that?
The Long Road Home.
The Long Road Home. That's very Ewan McGregor sounding. You know, he's got the long way up about his BMW motorcycle trips and the long way
I
down.
did not know
This
that.
is the Long Road Home.
The Long Road Home.
Can you kind of explain that a little bit?
Well,
I mean, it took you a long time to come up with it. If it's going to take you as long to come up with the explanation, you don't have to do it.
Okay. No, I just think, okay, a book about your life, and you know, life's a journey, and you're traveling down that path through your life. So and I think about like the trip you take from, you know, wherever you're going back to home. You know, your life is about getting to that place where you feel good, and that's what home is.
Did you get that idea from that Journey Home Disney movie about those dogs. What's it called?
I don't know.
The Incredible Journey. I
don't know.
Because that's what it sounds like. The Incredible Journey, an awful lot to me. All right, so this one's off script here a little bit.
Okay.
Not even a question on here, but since you mentioned the movie about yourself and you're a music guy, what one song has to be on the soundtrack of the Chad Lynn Long Road Home story?
Midnight Rider, the Allman Brothers.
Midnight Rider, the Allman Brothers. You know,
Yeah.
Dwayne Allman, I was reading, one of the highest ranked guitar players
One of my favorites.
of all time.
I thought you guys might ask me who the greatest guitar player is of all time, and I was gonna have a tough one with that.
Would you Hendrix, Allman?
You know, it
Jimmy
kinda,
Page.
It just kind of. I'd say my favorite. Who I think is the
My
greatest.
favorite is Dwayne Allman.
My favorite, who I think is the greatest of all time, I would say Dwayne Allman.
Mm-hmm.
He's so versatile. But if I was going to say just purely like who is the greatest of all time, if you want to rank some, I'd probably say Jimmy Page.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing against Hendrix. I think he was top 2. It's just
Well, keep in mind, he also had to play it upside down.
he did. But here's the thing. Here's the difference I think between Hendrix and Page is Page played so many different styles and was so great at them that I think to me that means you're more like Hendrix was a great guitar player with the electric, but Page could do so much more in different areas. That's what sets him apart from me.
One more piece of trivia that you may or may not know here. What is the only group, and you got to be a little wide in your thinking here, but what is the only group in the history of rock and roll to have 4 guitarists in the top 100 guitarists ranked by Rolling Stone magazine?
The only band to have 4 guitars?
4 guitarists ranked at the same time. These guitarists were in the band at the same time. We've already talked about this.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'm trying to think. I mean, you could say, I don't know, because the Yardbirds didn't have 4 in there.
I'll start giving you the names. It'll make it a little easier for you. You got Niels Lofgren, Steve Van Zandt,
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Tommy Morello, Bruce Springsteen, the E Street Band. That's your
Yeah,
answer.
yeah.
All right, this has been the Hot Seat with our special guest, Dr. Chad Lynn, who is, by the way, moving to Parkside Elementary next year. I've been to Parkside. It's a fantastic place to work. He's leaving a good group, though, over at Primary. A new adventure for you.
Oh, yeah.
Another part of your long way home or long road home. Again, be sure and like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and be looking for more exciting YouTube videos upcoming. Thanks. Have a good day.